Now let's look at the first measure of numerical representation, which is measure of central tendency. Okay, let's zoom it out. Now I believe that you're familiar with these three methods. Okay, basically in this subtopic, right, to measure for the central tendency, this is the method you are going to use. It will be either mean, median, or mode. Okay, so it is exactly what it showed here. So mean, if they want you to calculate for mean, I believe that you know it. Calculate for the average. If they want you to calculate for the median, just simply arrange and find the middle value. If the middle value is actually even, which has two numbers, you will need to find the average out of those two values, right? Simple. As for mode, you will need to find the frequency. I just go through this briefly because I believe that we already encountered this over and over before, right? So whatever method that you use, let it be mean, median, or mode, it will give you the center point. Now, instead of talking about how to calculate all of this, I am more interested to talk about why. Okay? Why do you need to have three different kind of method just to measure the same thing, right? If you are using mean, you will still get the center value, center point. If you calculate using median, you will still get the center point. And if you are using mode, which is the simplest one, you will still get the center point. Why don't you just use one out of these three? Why there exist three different kind of methods just to calculate this one thing? Okay, so basically there exist three different methods, obviously, because there are situations that you can use mean but not median and mode. There are situations that you can use median but not the other two, and the same goes to mode. So basically, depending on what situation or what kind of data that you have, you will need to decide which method that you will use to get the measure of central tendency. Now, before we go any further, I want you to be clear that what is the measure of central tendency, what kind of calculation that you have within the measure of central tendency. So, which is mean, median, and mode. So, whenever this kind of measure names appear, remember mean, median, and mode. Okay, now let's go back to our question. Okay, why do we have three? So in which situation that you can use mean, median, and mode? If you just look at the table 1.14, which is in page 16, you will see that they give you a summary of the best measure based on data type. Again, you need to know the types of data, right? So based on the suggestion in table 1.14, whenever the data is nominal, always go for mode when you want to look for measure of central tendency. Okay, when the data is ordinal, you can go for median. When the data is actually quantitative, you can go for mean, but not always. Now let's go in for a detail. Okay, nominal. Why they say that when the data is nominal, go for mode? Because obviously, when you have just a nominal data, which is a data that just a name, right? Just a name, nothing else can be done. You cannot calculate, you cannot arrange. So what else left? You cannot use median, you cannot use mean. To use mean, you need to calculate. To use median, you need to be able to arrange. So because of you cannot do that, you cannot do both of that things, so what left is just mode. So whenever you have a nominal data, go for mode. And if your data is ordinal, okay, you cannot use mean, because in ordinal data, they don't have an equal interval of number between each order. For example, let's take a racing. Let's take a race between a person. Now, just imagine that this person get number 1. this person get number 2, this person get number 3. So, and then next person get number 4. So we cannot say that person that is in number 2 is 2 times better than person that get number 4, because the interval is not the same. Maybe between number 1 and number 2, they have a close fight. Maybe they actually their time is actually close, but then for number 3, he left behind. So basically, for those that get rank 3, the time is actually further than number 1 and 2. So as you can see, the range itself is not equal, so they cannot use mean, but you can use median, because obviously it can be arranged, it can be ordered, right, in an order. So that is for ordinal. As for the next two, interval and ratio, okay, as I said before, in our classification we did not say interval and ratio, we did say discrete and continuous, but then in our table here they did put interval and ratio. But still, you can still it just means that for quantitative data you can use mean or median, but please take a note at the word within the bracket, which is the first one is not skewed and the next one is skewed. What does it mean by not skewed and what does it mean by skewed? We'll need to be clear on that first before we can discuss on the other things. Okay, so just before we proceed to the next video, just look at it. When it is not skewed, you can use mean, but when it is skewed, you cannot use mean, you need to use median. What does it mean by that? We'll talk about it more.